A, how are you? How's your summer been? And B, what did you think of that performance?
Good, doing great. Hope you guys. How are you doing? I haven't really tuned into the stream since they've been gone. It's the first
Four
time.
wins out.
So,
4 wins out of 4, mate. I'm doing great. 4 wins out of 4.
wonderful. Yeah, that makes two of us. Yeah. So I thought the game was honestly, especially in that first half, we actually played pretty well. And I think my it wasn't really a gripe, but kind of the observation I had with the first half is we're kind of dismantling this Korean side, and we really didn't get out of second gear to do it. And I think that's kind of what ended up hurting us in the second half because whatever that second team was completely blindsided us, especially with those 2 goals in 2 minutes from that one dude. And I'm not gonna say the celebrations. God, did my head in, man. Fucking the stupid dancing, calling the whole team over in a preseason game to do it for like the whole ordeal takes like 10 minutes to do, but for both goals, pissed me off.
For
But
any of you, that, sorry to interrupt, Darren, but for any of you at home who didn't see, basically, yeah, after every goal that the K-League All-Stars scored, they did basically get the entire side onto the touchline in front of the fans to do the like FIFA that stuff, and it was
whatever,
it
what
was
it
a bit
just
mortifying.
it pissed me off because I get that it's preseason, but at the same time, it's like it is preseason. Like it just put it go back to the kickoff and go again. Anyway, yeah. Look, I think we just didn't get out of second gear for the whole game, and that second half it hurt us big time.
Yeah.
No matter really how many changes we could make, we just especially when they got into their groove, I think they were much more energetic than us. And I guess
They seem
the
to have a
fact that
lot more. They seem to have a lot more pace on the pitch in that second
yeah.
half. They were kind of cutting us open, weren't they?
Yeah, they were big time, and I think the lack of defensive personnel, the lack of Mickey Van de Ven, probably especially stuff like that, hurt us big time. We couldn't get back and really defend. And I think Brandon Austin also didn't do himself any favors with that performance. Just stuff like that, and our defense was compromised in that second half, and we conceded 3. It's just that simple.
What have you been able to watch any of the other games, or is this the first preseason game you've really checked out?
I only missed the second half of the last one because I fell asleep because it's like 4 a.m.
Ange will not be delighted to hear that. But I guess the reason I ask is, I want to know who out of the kind of new signings, who out of the youth players you've been impressed with so far.
BERGVALL.
Yeah.
Incredible. I honestly think he is. I'd start him. I would start him for the first game against Leicester. He has been magnificent. I'm watching with my dad, and he's like, this kid with the golden hair. Yeah. And I'm like, I know. He's incredible. Every time he gets the ball, of course he's going to make mistakes. Of course he has some short passes, but I think everybody has had those, and he is just incredible. I love watching him. I'm gutted every time I see him subbed off. I'm like, I want more. Him and I guess Gray as well. He's been phenomenal. I think today was probably his worst game of all the games I've seen him, which was weird because he's playing in this position. Not that he played, but just for some reason I felt like I left wanting more. Where with the other performance, I just thought that he was almost flawless. But this game, I feel like he was just kind of not quite on it, but not really him. Just the whole midfield was a little bit, again, I feel like second gear the whole time. But BERGVALL easily impressed me the most out of everybody. I would start him for sure. He has been just so exciting. Just anything he does it well. And there was one moment in that first half towards the end where he made this over-the-top pass to Johnson. It was offside, and I was just thinking, nobody in our team makes that pass besides him. Nobody. Not even Madison.
And who do you think then, it's 3 weeks' time, it's Monday night, Leicester away. You've already said, and I agree with you actually, I would start BERGVALL, mainly because I just think you just don't see many players who are as fearless and want to control the tempo of the game as he does, and especially at that age. And I feel like let's not hold him back. But who then in the 3 in midfield would you see him starting alongside?
I think as much as I want to see Gray start immediately, I think he's a phenomenal player. I thought he was great at Leeds. I don't think he's done, especially after that performance in the midfield. I'd have to see it versus Bayern to start him. I wouldn't start him in midfield at the moment. I'd probably just stick with Sarr and then just Bissouma, Sarr, and BERGVALL. That's probably, I'd keep it simple there, honestly.
And then,
but I think
no room for Madders, Arian?
At the moment, no. And again, second half, Madders can easily come in and have an instant impact and shut us all up. But I think at the moment, it makes this most sense. Or maybe even put him in there instead of Sarr. I don't think Sarr has been like a world beater any more than Madison has either. So I wouldn't mind it either way. I think BERGVALL is more than capable of playing the box to box as Sarr is. But I think for consistency's sake, you probably want to have Basuma and then Sar in because I know they're a great double pivot together. Basuma, Sar, Madison, Basuma, Sar, BERGVALL, Basuma, BERGVALL, Madison. Like that. But I think BERGVALL has to start. I think he's earned it the most out of everybody per season. Next to maybe Kulusevski, but he's not a new signing.
Yeah, and Bentancur might even be back then as well to add to the mix. I mean, unless we sell him because he's now a racist fan abuser.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure anything. I know. Well, what I can say is his joke was definitely a huge mistake. That was a big.
Yeah, I think everybody knows that.
That was racist. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can't let you leave, Arian, without saying, without mentioning transfers. Obviously, a lot of Spurs fans getting quite. Angry about the fact that obviously Archie Gray is really the only kind of transfer that we didn't know about that has come in. How are you feeling about it, and who would you like to come through the door between now and the end of the window?
I think the thing that is the most frustrating with the transfer window, and not our transfer, I don't think our transfer window has been bad. I think with the transfer window discourse is if you look at it in the league, you could make a case that Spurs have had the best transfer window in the Premier League thus far. You can't make that case because besides Aston Villa and Chelsea, there's not been much activity. And we all know how Chelsea operate, and it's not well. And I'm not very impressed with Aston Villa's window. I've never liked Amadou Onana as a player. I think he's overrated. I think 60 million is a ridiculous price. Like, I think they've done very well to get Maatsen and Barrenechea. But besides those three signings, who I think we can all agree are probably the better signings, the rest of them look like Ross Barkley, Lewis Dobbin, Philogene. Like, they don't particularly impress me personally. I don't think they impress most players. I don't think most fans want us to be signing those players and decide, So you compare that to a window of BERGVALL and Gray. I don't think the gap in quality is massive there. People are going to look at Arsenal, look at Calafiori. That's their only deal this summer so far. Liverpool are yet to make a deal. Man City are yet to make a deal besides Savia, who they signed before the transfer window started, which we did with BERGVALL. Yeah. So you look at the Premier League, and also I guess Man United with Lenny Yoro and Xerxes. But Yoro's already just immediately gotten injured. So, and again, so besides them, and it's a close one, but you could make the case that we've had the best window in the Premier League. And with the whole window, oh my God, the signings are so late. That's going to happen in a tournament window. We've seen it. Every single club pretty much in the world is having a slow window. As I've just said, I've listed out clubs. The best of the best windows, one or two signings that are decent. So quality takes time in a window like this. So you can't ask for quality. You can't ask, we got to sign the first choice players. We got to sign X, Y, and Z, and then be impatient because quality, especially in a window like this, takes time. Yes, we're running out of it, but it's special circumstances. Every club's running out of it. Every club's going to do a deal. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I think our transfer window last year in January and so far this window has been good enough for us to place the trust in the scouting team, Yes, Daniel Levy, I know, but I think he's earned this grace. He's earned this grace, and I'm willing to give him this grace because comparatively, we've been doing good business. We've been doing good business comparatively, so I'm staying optimistic.
And who, if you were going to say, like last summer, we had James Maddison as our big marquee signing, a player that we beat other clubs who had finished above us to get. Who do you think might be our marquee signing this summer?
My heart tells me Eze. It just does. It just does. I feel like it's one of those players, a little bit like Madison, where I just feel like I can see him in a Spurs shirt. I can see it happening. Him or Neto, maybe both, if we all pray. I'm gonna say Eze.
Yeah, I've been saying all summer on my channel that I think Eze is going to be the marquee signing. I feel like that deal is done, and I feel like if Man City were going to get him, they would have already got him at this point. But who knows? Let's see what happens. Arian, mate, thank you so much for calling in. Really appreciate it. And I'll be back here on Saturday for the Munich game if you want to give me a call after that.
Yep, you know it. I'm gonna, of course, I'm gonna be watching that game. Probably the most exciting game of preseason. So, of course, and as always, come on, you Spurs!